Oh, wait, there's some shit. Oh, okay. Well, damn, I ain't got long. I see. I just started this shit here trying to. I got a new little gadget, and I think it's real cute. I gotta learn how to work it. I think I've done pretty good so far, but now the fucked up thing is that the batteries for the lighting is fucked up. So, um, the batteries is not working, and the lighting to my little gadget is also, I have to use my regular bedroom lighting, or just my regular lighting, and I'm hoping it's enough, although I'm not even sure if it's enough. But damn, I didn't even finish organizing myself because I had this whole motherfucking mood I wanted to set. So you know what, let me set my mood and everything and get my shit together, and I will BRB. Okay, so in order for me to continue recording and not lose my footage that I've done so far, even though I haven't really done any footage at all, but I mean, shit, I guess I'm just gonna have to say fuck it to the mood. Fuck it, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to light my incense. I have some Arabian Nights incense. I wanted to light that, you know. Pour me a little sippy cup. So listen, y'all get y'all sippy cup. It's Friday night. I'm gonna pour me a little sippy cup, and if I can find the damn lighter, I'll be good. We'll be good. My mood will pretty much be set. I just want to, I'm relaxed. Thank goodness I'm off. I have to go back to work tomorrow, but it's okay. It's no biggie because I just really wanted to get into the zone about one sidedness. I want to discuss one sidedness. So wait, before I get into that, cheers. Tonight's drink of choice for me is coconut rum. I love the taste of coconut. I like rum. You know what I like about rum is that you can mix it. Meaning, like for me, um, I can have a glass of rum and give it about 20 minutes or half an hour later, I can have another glass of whatever the fuck I want, and it won't twist my mind or twist my head crazy. As long as I'm mellow, I have to be in an atmosphere where I can get fresh air. So as long as I'm in an atmosphere where I'm circulating in fresh air, um, I'll be fine. But tonight's choice is rum. So cheers, and let's get on to the topic. All right, I keep trying to find my lighter. I can't believe that I can't find my lighter to light my incense right now. It's because I'm moving around a lot. Um, because I light incense all through the house, and I probably should have a lighter in most rooms so I don't have to look so hard. But that's just not how my shit is set up. So anyway, I wanted to talk about one sidedness. I have a group on Facebook, a private group, under the same title as this page here, Noah's Urban Diary. And it is about, the group is based, well, let's just say this is a spinoff from the group, right? Sort of how Raising Canaan is a spinoff from Power. Not the same concept at all. Because I started the group and I started this page, it was born out of pain. Like most births, I think, most childbirths. I mean, most people have the glorious opportunity of not experiencing much pain through childbirth. And I commend you ladies who are able to do that. However, that was not the case for me, as do this channel and my Facebook page. It was born out of pain, out of heartbreak pain, heartbreak from a long-term relationship that I was involved in. And when you serious about healing and pulling yourself together up out of this motherfucking pain and up out of this sunken place, for, I don't want to say it's a lack of better words, but you get what I'm saying. When you want to pull yourself up out of that, you are serious about your healing, because for me, let me speak for me. I cannot stay in that motherfucking place too long. I refuse to give it continuous power. And I've arrived at that decision because in giving it power over me, it has the potential to probably take me to a low of possibly depression. I know depression is pretty much linked to heartbreak, or any type of mental, emotional, probably even spiritual pain that you may experience. Excuse me. I'm pretty sure depression, some form of depression, is linked to it, and linked to it. But I am not depression prone, so heartbreak for me, especially the older I get, have the potential to drive me into depression. And I, if you go back to my earlier videos, you will see that I made a reference of saying when you're healing from heartbreak, you are in a fight for your life. And I honestly believe that. This is why I had to come up out of there. I had to come up out of that shit. I had to come up out of the depression. I had to come up out of the heartbreak. The thing about it is that I was in that shit, and I didn't realize I was slipping further in. I sat in the pain for a little while because I felt like, I can't keep running from this pain, because in trying to run from it, I'm actually not running from it. And being scared to deal with it is, flaring up my fucking anxiety. And it's all going to come crashing down, because you cannot run from the fucking pain. The circumstances of events that already happened or is happening in the midst of happening. And so, you cannot run from the pain. So you have to face it. And that I did. And in facing my pain, once I got in there, it was like an adaptability. I adjusted myself, I want to say, to a degree. I probably even got comfortable in it because I refused to let that shit keep hurting me, and I refused to let that shit drag me through the mud. And I'm talking about the pain and the heartbreak. Like, my way of dealing with it was just to, once I decided to face it head on, I was like, you know what, fuck it, that's just what I'm gonna do. And I was literally like sick and doing with it. When your heart is broken, everything is backwards and upside down, so nothing absolutely makes sense, and you're trying to make sense out of none. If you're a person of logic like me, or if you're a thinker like me, you just trying to get a solid thought together and hold on to that thought, just to try to use it as like a parachute of a way out. So I done that, and I found a lot of ways that I used to feel about the judgment of other people when they went through something similar. It's like the tables was turned on me, the beliefs that I used to have, I've outgrown them because of my own experience, and it had became a contradicting factor. For an example, there were women that I knew personally, who after heartbreak or during the heartbreak, their parachute of hope turned into religion. And for some reason or another, when I was younger, I used to think that was weak. I used to think that was weak of them. I used to be like, yo, you can't have no motherfucking nigga make you turn to religion, because guess what? If you wasn't religious before that nigga, like, what the fuck? How that nigga gonna fucking turn you to religion because he done fucking hurt you? Now that I'm older, those old ways of thinking have become contradiction in my world, and they also no longer serve the woman that I've grown into. Because baby, let me tell you something. If your parachute of hope is religion or spirituality, I have come to find that that is quite possibly the only way you can make it up out of some heartbreaking shit. Through religion or through spirituality. That is the only fucking way that you can make it out. I made it out. I'm healed. I'm so grateful to be healed from that heartbreak. But I still have to revisit certain situations at the time that bring me back into that moment. And it's not because it hasn't healed. I just need to remember the lesson that was in it, so that moving forward I can also refer to that lesson. Moving forward, I'm not taking the pain with me, but it is important for me to remember the lesson so that I will not repeat it. No one wants to repeat heartbreak, and some of those lessons is what I want to touch on today, right now. Matter of fact, the lesson of one-sidedness. So, one-sidedness, if you don't really know what that means, one-sidedness is um when the relationship is basically successful, or even is able to stay afloat, mainly because of one person. There's mainly one person doing all the fucking labor for the relationship, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and even oftentimes physically. But even if it's not physically, when a ratio is 3 to 1, it's still one-sidedness. There's no balance. And I've done some homework on myself, and I realized that, you know, one-sidedness have been pretty consistent in my life, in the relationships that I've had. I wrote a piece on it in my Facebook group, but everyone comprehension is different. This is why I want to touch on it too. Everybody comprehension is different. And second of all, everybody attention span is different, especially in this new age computer world where you can get information at the snap of a finger. So I'm an avid reader. I'm an old school reader. So yes, I do entertain the internet when I read, but I also have a library at home of books. Okay, I do have a library of books, so I still read a lot. And because I read, don't mean that everyone will read. So I wanted to touch on this topic of one-sidedness and ask, how many of you have experienced a one-sided relationship, and for how long? Because so many times through survival and through dysfunction, we develop that as a sense of norm. I know how we was raised, right? Hear me out. I know how we was raised. A lot of us was raised in the hood. It doesn't matter what fucking hood, East Coast, West, doesn't matter. A lot of us was raised in the hood, in the ghetto. Our families, no matter how good of people we turned out to be, it doesn't matter how good our family was to us. They did the best they can, or the best that they could, excuse me. Our families did the best that they could with the resources that they had at the time. And we were still, most of us were still raised out of survival. So we became fairly decent people out of that survival. Um, but like our ancestors that came before us, and ancestors doesn't mean way back in the 18 or 1900s. I'm talking about as recent as the closest person in your lineage passing away is now considered an ancestor. That means they crossed over into another phase of living, right? So their physical is no longer with us on this plane, but their essence have elevated to another plane. Totally my belief, but let's keep going forward. Now, although we was raised off of survival and our ancestors was raised off of survival, somewhere along the line we've created that space, we've claimed it and made it our own, and forgetting or not even ever comprehending that survival, living in survival, is not normal. It is not. We should not be living in survival mode for most of our lives. And this is why stress, or this plays a part in stress being a silent killer, because our bodies are so conducive to dealing with stress and stressful situations that we don't even realize when we're stressing. Our mind won't conceive when our body is under stress because either we refuse to believe it is stress, or because we're so used to operating in survival mode that it doesn't appear to be stress to the mind. Stress and survival go hand in hand. Survival, living in survival, we've lived in survival for so long because most of us had no choice and we really didn't have any options. This is why as adults we decide to do better, to lessen um the way that we live in survival, because I realize this is why so many of us die so young and die so early. Yes, poor diet plays a part of it, but that's all a part of living out of survival. And we need to come to a point in our lives where we have to rethink a lot of what we was taught. We need to modernize to a degree our way of thinking, not because it still isn't relevant, but because the times have changed. And when you put yourself and your family in a better position, um, it should not still be considered trying to thrive out of survival, trying to make a way out of no way, because for the most part at your age, you've made it. Not to say that the struggles won't be there, but for the most part, you've made it. You strapped your family on your back. You've carried them through it. For the most part, we've all done pretty well. Survival shouldn't be considered a norm. And what that has to do on one side in this is because we take that saving complex into our relationships too, especially with in minority. And again, I am not trying to disrespect any other culture out there, but I don't know any other culture except American black culture. That's what I know. um with no disrespect to my ancestors from way back when that may have came before me from other continents and other countries, I am not too sure about, but I'm not definitely not trying to disrespect them. I'm just trying to say that I just know American black culture, and that's what I speak on. I only speak on what I know. And survival should not be considered a norm in our life, and survival should not be something that we carry with us for all of our days. We should seriously consider taking the lessons with us and not the pain. So we carry this shit over to our relationships. And when the relationships, the first sign of the relationship becoming one-sided, we readjust ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally. We adapt to the ways of strapping on someone else's pain, taking on someone else's trauma. The relationship is becoming one-sided because we are so used to thriving and living and making a way out of survival that any sign of our relationship with our significant other appears to be failing, we automatically pick up the slack for our partner. That is not to say that we shouldn't be concerned or compassionate about what our partner may be going through, what our partner should be going through. But it does mean that there, at least for me, constant conversations need to be had, because one-sidedness is not healthy. Living um in constant survival mode is not healthy. It is not healthy for your mental, your physical, your spiritual, or your emotional. It's not healthy. I am 47 years of age. I say that, I call that shit the AK-47. You know what I'm saying? And with each shot, for lack of, but for metaphoric terms, I want to really and fully thrive in a healthier version of myself, all the way across the fucking board. All the way across the board. Um, I am no longer into one-sided relationships. I am not. I have done that at 47 years old. You could say that I have started having, well, I started having relationships. And I'm gonna be real, because that's all I know how to be, and be me. But since the age of like 16 years old, and no, I haven't constantly been in a relationship since then, but I have started embarking on the journey of having relationships since that age. And with your first, boyfriend, your first crush, and all of that type of shit. And I don't want to say that even those relationships are exempt, because a lot of our experiences in our relationships to date, it's kind of like a spin-off from previous relationships. I'm gonna give you an example. That's where, preferences come in at. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, I prefer to date this type of person because most of our experiences consisted of a particular type of person, and it's not ever to say that your choice or your preference is a negative thing. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm trying to say is, when do we get to the part of adulting that we go back and unlearn some of the shit that we learned, because it's no longer suitable for who we are evolving into as an adult? Those young and childish ways, they're no longer serving to us and who we are right now as adults. That goes for one-sidedness. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why I'm not into that shit no more. I'm not into it because I'm not willing to be in a struggle love anymore. I'm not willing to save a grown ass motherfucking man who is not willing to put the necessary work in to save himself. I'm not willing to overlove a grown ass man or parent a grown ass man because his parents failed to fucking parent him, or overlove a motherfucker because he lacks self-love, and self-discipline and spirituality, because a lot, not all, but a lot of my relationships was that way. I was so filled with love. I knew from a young age, let me tell you some real shit. I knew from a young age that, well, I used to call myself a lover, right? But it wasn't a lover because I was sexually active. I call myself a lover based on the fact of how I felt on the inside. And I've always felt an abundance of love, of self-love. And this is real shit. So any ship that I embarked on, whether it was my girlfriends who turned into my sisters, so we talking about friendships, relationships, situationships, right? Whatever the shit that they had going on with them, I felt like didn't affect me. Excuse me. Because I had so much love within that me pouring into other people was just like a second nature for me. I never questioned it. It was just who I was at the time. I went through Like most of us, we got stories. We all got stories that made our motherfucking heart turn to stone. But at some point, we have to come up out of that shit, because to stay there hardens you. If you stay stone, if you turn against yourself, if you turn into motherfucking Medusa, it hardens you, and you have nothing positive to give to the universe, to the people that you actually do care about, including yourself. And so I realized, maybe then at the time, I don't know, for whatever reason, it didn't affect me. But now, when I look back in retrospect, it was affecting me. Piece by piece and chip by chip, it was chipping away at me. Because I carried that shit into relationships up until recently. Pouring into motherfuckers that wasn't pouring back. And now I'm tired. Now I'm tired. That's been my experience. I don't think, and I could be absolutely wrong, but the ratio of women who've had the opportunity to be in a healthy relationship at any point in their life had to, at one time, experience one-sidedness. Because there is no way that you can have what's considered to be a healthy relationship without first understanding or having the experience of a relationship that is not healthy. That is not. If you go into a healthy relationship, what you consider to be a healthy relationship, without having the experience of something unhealthy at first, then I guarantee you, your relationship is not as healthy as you think it is. It is not. It is not. Because you're not hurting at the moment, or because you haven't experienced any physical pain throughout the relationship, does not mean that it's not healthy. Manipulation and lies and deceit. Remember, this is all the type of shit that is done not so blatantly, not in your face. But that's another lie. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on one-sidedness, and I wanted it to be understood that, when you're moving forward in healing and you're going back in retrospect and you're understanding all your shit, all your bullshit as a whole, because you got to be honest with yourself and see how you enable people to do what the fuck they do, because I have to take accountability and did that and say that regardless how filled the love I was, and I was like, fuck it, that's them, me brushing it off and not worrying about it and not feeling like it affected me at that time, but also me not calling them on their shit was enabling them. It was enabling them, and so I'm still learning, still loving, still growing, and I wish you to heal so motherfucking good from your motherfucking heartbreak, to heal so wholly and completely that the next relationship or situationship or whatever it is that you embark on can meet you just where the fuck you at, because we deserve it. Not just because we took the time to do necessary work to chip ourselves down and then rebuild ourselves, not just because of that, but because we so pure at heart. We deserve the positive to be reciprocated. We deserve the high vibes to be reciprocated. We deserve all the pouring that we pour into. We deserve that to be reciprocated. And the only way that it could be, we can meet our whole other half, the only way we can meet that person, real shit, is we gotta attract them. That we will meet them and they will meet us where the fuck we at. Because that's where one-sidedness come in at. When motherfuckers keep saying that, you know, they this type of way, they not gonna settle for this, they not gonna settle for that. And you know, and that's all well and good, because we all gotta have boundaries, but we can't have our boundaries on a tip of the scale to where as though we're always constantly giving, and the relationship is mainly only staying afloat because of what we're putting into the relationship. And all this motherfucker got to do is walk around and say, you know, not even, you know, claim that he the fucking man of the house, and because he got a dick, it makes him the motherfucking man of the house. And so him being a man of the house and him being masculine means that he's not in touch with anything else besides his ego. No. Hell motherfucking no. No. You're not in touch with reality, and you're not in touch with your motherfucking feminine side. Or some dudes, you know, who are in touch with their feminine side, they fucking fit. They toxic too. They fucking toxic. Because you got some motherfuckers that, you know, gossip like bitches. And I'm going to tell you straight up and down, it ain't a motherfucking bitch out here that respect a gossiping ass motherfucking man. I can't stand them niggas. I cannot stand. That is not masculine. And that is not even fucking ego. That means you still trying to keep some shit going, like you a bitter ass bitch. And you trying to keep some shit going. Why? It make you feel good as a fucking individual to have motherfuckers going crazy, or to see motherfuckers low vibing or going through some shit, you know, or hurting or in pain or feeling discontent. Like, you know, I can't stand motherfuckers like that. I don't like bitches like that. And I know this is contradictory to what I'm about to say, but where I'm at in my life right now, growing up, bitches always been like that. It's the men that wasn't fucking like that. You know what I'm saying? Now it seems like in society, the fucking tables is turning to where as though, you know, the roles have been reversed. We have to be in touch with both aspects of us. We all have a masculine and a feminine side, but it should be in a healthy concept. It should not be in a toxic ass concept. And all I'm saying is that it's nothing wrong with a man being in touch with his feelings and understanding that, you know, to be with the woman and with the queen, he has to show some emotion. He has to be affectionate, and he has to understand that he needs to pour back into her so that she can pour into him. It has to be an exchange of positive energy and high vibes. You know, it's nothing wrong with that. The motherfucking issue is these motherfucking niggas that's just toxic all around. So both they masculine side, their ego, their feminine side, all of that shit is fucking toxic. Niggas is gossiping, talking like bitches, hating, jealous of bitches. Oh gosh, I can't stand motherfuckers like that. You know what I'm saying? I can't. But that's another motherfucking live, you know. So I'm gonna finish sipping here on my sippy cup, and I just need for you to really take a second during this healing process, because my time is about to run out too. I need you to take a second in this healing process and really ask yourself, when was the last time you were in a completely reciprocal relationship? And I'm talking about from a healthy aspect. And I'm not talking about, oh, you know, we argue because he, you know, wants me to do this and wants, you know, he wants me to cook and, you know, but, you know, he always asks. I'm talking about the real shit. I'm talking about shit that pillow talk can't make up for, can't cover. Real shit. And we need to aspire to get there in all of our relationships, whether it's romantic relationship or whether it's our friendships. Real shit. Real shit. I need for my sisters, my homegirls, my girlfriends, or whatever the fuck your title is in my life, I know what type of energy I'm bringing to the table, and I need that shit to be motherfucking reciprocated. And if it's not reciprocated, I am not upset at you. I'm not going to be offended. I'm just going to remove myself from the situation, because I am not the type of motherfucking bitch that's going to sit here and play tit for tat with you. I'm not doing that. I don't have the time, and I don't have the motherfucking energy to keep showing up 1,000% for a bitch that is not in a place or space to reciprocate it. You not in a place or space. I understand that, and I'm falling the fuck back because I know what I deserve. You should know what you deserve in all of your relationships, all of them. All of them. It's unfortunate that we cannot take the history with us, but we can't, because that's how them fucking cycles start. You know, you fucking bringing niggas from the history. You bringing bitches from the all because I knew them all this time. But all the time you knew them bitches, what good has they brought into the friendship? Because a lot of us trauma bond. You understand? Because we've been through some shit together. We've been down together. You know, we've been fucked up together. So, you know, she understand my pain from then. But you was there for her and she was there for you. And now moving on to the future, you know, to the current, to the present. What have these people done for you so that you will be able to say with all positivity that we have a great friendship, we have a great relationship, because we've always reciprocated each other's energy in whichever type of way.